Hello everyone, and I hope you are doing great. Today I have a different kind of video. Today we will be theorizing about U-3 origins and the secret of the island in Resident Evil 4 the game. I did mention in the past that maybe someday I will be making video game theories along with my One Punch Man theory videos. Okay, so I did the research about the U-3 and the island in Resident Evil 4. But concerning the U-3, there isn't a lot out there, or let me just say there isn't anything. No info, no data to understand the U-3 and its origins. Most of the video will be theories, so I hope you enjoy. Alright, so this video will be in two major parts, the U-3 and the secret of the island. With that being said, let's begin. So Leon faces the U-3 after his short conversation with Lord Sadler. I will talk about what we know so far about the U-3 and then we'll theorize about its origins. Like I mentioned, Leon follows the tracking device that he put on Ashley earlier before she left with Sadler, but the latter has a different plan in mind. He told Leon that maybe I should introduce you to it. Alright, we do know why Sadler uses the pronoun it because he does not value any kind of life, like animal life, human life, especially human life. This was depicted when he shot down the helicopter of Mike, the one who helped Leon defeat the Ganados of the island. Sadler then adds that this process is very similar to slapping flies. He tells Leon when you have this kind of power you too will understand. Alright, so let's talk about how Leon encounters the U-3. Leon hears a sound similar to an earthquake. He couldn't determine what is it at first. Then the U-3 burst out of a wall, forcing Leon to jump into a suspended crate rigs out of his way. U-3 sprouted a massive plaga from his back. I mean the size of it is very different concerned to the other plagued monsters Leon has fought so far. Leon successfully defeats the U-3 after killing the huge plaga that emerges from its back. In the game, there isn't any indication about the origin of the U-3, so let's theorize. Okay, so what is this U-3 and how it came to be? Alright, so the first thing I want to discuss is its name. Why is it called U-3? Like, why isn't it called U6, U5? And what could this potentially mean? I think the number 3 could indicate the third time of the experience. Maybe the third time the experience has succeeded. The two previous attempts were failures, alright? The third one was a success, giving birth to this abomination. Another theory concerning its name that it would be a fusion between three species, human, insect and lizard, and we do know that U-3 is a chimera, alright, is a chimera being, and the alphabet U could indicate union between these two different species. Remember guys, I am just only theorizing here. Like I mentioned before, U-3 is a chimera that was developed in the island that Leon gets to save Ashley. Let's talk a little bit about the U-3 appearance. At first glance, the U-3 is a huge grotesque creature that seems to track down its prey with improved senses and very powerful strength. The upper body of the U-3 seems to resemble a mutilated human, since it is a fusion between a human, an insect, and a reptile. Concerning the insect part, his lower jaw seems to project the end result of that fusion. U-3 seems kinda resembles the Verdugo monster. However, it is a different in the appearance since the DNA of the reptile was added to its biological structure. It is important to note that it doesn't matter how many powerful shots he takes during the airborne rigs fight, he does not falter. Only after taking a minimum amount of damage, the U-3 sprouts a very powerful plaga. I will give you example on how powerful the U-3 plaga is compared to the other monsters Leon has faced so far. Let's take for example the fight against El Gigante. After sustaining a specific amount of damage, the last plaga of El Gigante sprouts out of his back. It is very similar to a harmless plant. If Leon succeeds at cutting it with his kitchen knife, El Gigante will eventually die. However, it is a completely different case with the U-3. The last plaga of the U-3 can rip a human in two with a single powerful strike. It is sturdy and can take multiple shots with the broken butterfly or the killer 7 without flattering. There is something very important I also want to mention. In my opinion, the lower body part of the U-3 does not resemble a lizard, maybe his hands and legs, but more of a worm. This could actually explain why U-3 can dig through walls and underground at will. Among the characteristics of a worm that it can absorb the nutrients from the ground and retain it in its body. Maybe after receiving damage, U-3 digs underground to get the nutrients in order to heal its injuries. Remember guys, I am just only theorizing here. There is also something very interesting about the Las Plagas in general. They do identify allies from enemy. This was also included in the Resident Evil Vendetta, which is an awesome movie, that the product of Aries Glenn, the A virus, as he mentioned, can identify the target. There is a long explanation on how it is capable of such feat, but let's leave the A virus maybe to another video. Back to the topic at hand, the U-3. I believe that the U-3 was developed in the laboratories of the island where other abominations and anomalies were created as well. Let's take for example this interesting shot. As Leon proceeds to save Ashley through the laboratories, he goes through an X-ray room. Leon asks what are these X-rays showing. Leon does not seem to understand what these X-rays are depicting. They do not seem to be showing any type of human organs. Probably they could be showing a fusion between two different biological structures or two different species to give birth to a BOW, or bioorganic weapon. The U-3 has two different hands. The left one seems to be tentacle-like type. It is capable of choking the enemy with a very powerful grip. For those who played the game, you know guys how sturdy the U-3 can be and how powerful it is to fight against it. Alright, now let's get to the second part of our video, which is the island. The way I see it, Resident Evil 4 is divided into three major parts in the story. We have the village, the castle, which happens to be my favorite part, and the island. You get to the island after defeated Ramon Salazar when he fused with his remaining butler into this monstrosity, with the help of Ada of course. Compared to the village and castle, the island seems to be tightly secured. You get one hell of a welcome the moment you step there if you do not destroy the spotlight. I wonder why is that? I may have the answer. I think it is tightly secured because the private team of scientists ordered by Sadler to develop the BOW, like I mentioned, the bioorganic weapons. This island seems to possess a lot of laboratories, and you can expect soldiers trying to attack you anywhere you go. Like I mentioned before, the labs in the island are not your usual type of harmless experiments. There are a lot of genetic mixing and biological fusing to create the bioorganic weapons. Osmond Sadler does have a private research team that has the capability to engineer the cells and the biological structure and fuse it with other species. And these Las Plagas are capable of distinguishing between allies and enemies. Like there is this room where a human being is being experimenting on. His back is sliced open, enough for the Las Plagas to dig into his spinal cord, his spine and solar plexus to control the host. Even Leon asks what kind of experiments are going on down here. The freezer also reveals these type of horrific experiments that are being used to create the BOWs. In Sadler's eyes, human life does not matter at all. It does not matter how many humans he will kill to reach his perfect biological weapon. Massive projects began on the island after Osmond Sadler was capable of amassing his private army of spies, fighters, scientists, inventors, and even biologists. In late 2004, the US government began operating in Spain, which led to the destruction and devastation of the Los Eliminados island facilities. You can see the ruins of the labs and other parts of the island when you play as Leon. How many of them survived and still operate on the island? The answer to that is unknown. Everyone on the island is turned. They are not human. They look human, but their bodies are festered by the Las Plagas and being controlled by the virus. Leon also indicates that the soldiers is different type of food, and they will randomly attack any visitor. As I mentioned before, the island is the house of many atrocious experiments, such as the U-3 and the Regenerator. You can see all kinds of regenerators as you walk through the island to save Ashley, through the labs and through the underground facilities. Also, there is this huge chance that the Verdugo was also engineered in this research lab in the island. Lewis' memo reveals more insight on how the U-3 was created and other BOW abominations. Lewis indicates that these are merely the byproducts of an evil and inhumane experiments done in the research in the underground facilities. He mentions El Gigante, the Regenerator, and the Novistadors. The Novistadors are the huge insect-like creature that successfully kidnapped Ashley at the tower before attacking Leon, alright? So guys, I guess that was everything I could gather about the U-3 and the island. The sources will be in the description. Give it a like if you did enjoy this video, subscribe if you want to. I will be seeing you in the next video. I wish you a great day. Goodbye.